I'll tell you, this help. It's hard to get good help these days. My stagehands just can't get all this stuff. I'm the stagehands. I'm the technical guy. I'm the everything guy. Oh boy, what a mess. But anyway, I was going to try to get broadcasting here at 9 o'clock a.m. And then it became 9:15, and here I am at 9:30. So, what are you going to do? It's Sunday morning. It's March 24, here in sunny downtown Boca Raton. I mean, we live on the 8th floor in a 9-story building that houses 200 units. The car normally is parked on level 3. We share a charging plug that has a NEMA 1450 plug, which is like a dryer plug, which is pretty good. And that, there we go. So that's how we charge our little Tesla. We got a new Tesla, by the way. We turned in our 2021 Model Y Tesla and procured on another lease for 36 months at $565 a month, which is not bad for a $50,000 car. $50,000, almost on the button. It's $50,030, which, in a world of things, that's not bad. I'm going to try to show you the actual invoice on that little puppy. I tell you what, it's amazing. Does this do it? Nope. I tell you what, everything's... I mean, it's amazing that you can buy a car online. I mean, it's truly amazing. Let's see what this one is. $565.02 to be exact, as you can see on this invoice. Odometer reading of 15 miles. So here's the vehicle purchase agreement. And see, it says on the bottom there, if you can see it, $52,380. Let me turn my screen brightness up just a little bit. Now they took $2,550 off that, so that brings you down to $50,030. The Model Y, the base price is $34,000. But if you want the long-range battery and the all-wheel drive, which means it adds a motor in the front and the transaxle to power both, and the software control of all 4 wheels instead of just 2, that's $13,990. And then black paint is $2,000. The black and white interior is $1,000. I was worried whether Marilyn would like the black and white interior. It turns out she really likes it. I really like it. I knew I'd really like it. The guy parked next to me has a Model S, with the steering yoke. looks like a rocket ship. Oh my God! Like a yoke in an airplane. Oh, geez. And it has white interior but dark gray exterior. So, if you look in the car and you see that white interior, you go, "Oh my, this is really nifty whifty." All right, if you're trying to figure out how to read the VIN, here's the VIN decoder. It tells you how to read the VIN numbers on Tesla cars. Let's see. Just moving right along here. I told you yesterday about Wegovy. Wegovy is the same thing as Ozempic, but this can be prescribed for weight loss. See that? Semaglutide. Same active ingredient. Matter of fact, it's the only ingredient other than saline when you give yourself injections with this little pen you take once a week, which I poked myself with that yesterday. You can't feel it. Swear to God. You poke that sucker in you and you can't feel a thing. I mean, it is unbelievable. Once a week, every Saturday. So a pen is good for 4 weeks. And then you get a whole new pen. And there doesn't seem to be a way of returning the pens or refilling the pens. I imagine that'll change in the future so that the pens are made so that you retain the pen and you get the little cylinder, 3 milliliter cylinder that fits inside the pen. Of course, on my last pen, I completely disassembled it. Unplanned disassembly. Yeah, UPD. It's a SpaceX term for unplanned radical disassembly. Oops. Oh boy. So here's a little picture thing you can see there. The iPhone is mounted on a newer NEEWER cage. But I happen to... it's buried under a bunch of stuff. I happen to have one. Don't go away. There it is. Here's my newer. It's a grip, and you clip your iPhone in this spring-loaded thing, and then you have a nut on the back. And it's amazing when you hold something like this instead of, holding an iPhone and, the fumbling around and but when you put it in something like this, oh my God, what a difference. All right, let me put this down in the least destructive way possible. I have a little radical disassembly here of my right sideline here, which is out of view, thank God, or you would be totally disappointed with me. Anyway, so here's a picture of this. I'll tell you what. You know what this story is about? It is really about the fact that the iPhone 15 Pro Max isn't competing against other Android phones or whatever. It's competing against, $7,000 single lens reflex cameras. I have I think I'm gonna sell it. I swear to God. I've got an R5 camera. Maybe I'll sell the R's first. I have two R1s, which they just call R's. You know, EOS. I have that right? Yeah, EOS R. And then I have an EOS R5. The EOS R is a 30 megapixel camera that shoots 20 frames a second. I mean, spectacular. We shot FAU football for, since the program started in the year, was it? God, 2000? Oh my God, is that possible? Yeah. Yep. They played football in Joe Robbie Stadium because they signed a 2 or 3 year lease, and it cost the university $100,000 a game. I think it was. I mean, it was some huge. But they had to play football somewhere, and they wanted to start the football program, and they got Howard Schnellenberger, and and his 19 minions, and they started off with a bang. Really very exciting. Anyway, so I have this R5 that shoots, 20 frames a second, and the pictures are 45 million pixels. I mean, it's such a beautiful camera. You want to sleep with it. As a camera guy all my life, it is. Oh, God. Phew. I think I'd cry when I sell that. But now the Apple, in their engineering genius, have come up with a camera in their i15 Pro Max, and they're actually shooting in comparison with these high definition products from Canon, Sony, and Nikon. So here's this guy. So this guy's jumping, right? See that guy? This guy's running with the newer thing in his hand, and because the image stabilization is so remarkable that this guy can be running and that guy can be jumping, and the images are so smooth and beautiful, and oh my God, crazy. So I had to just clip that story. Anyway, Powerball. No one hit Powerball. That happens to be the top ticket of this. Sorry, I just banged my glasses into my super duper fragilistic microphone, and smooth filter here, which helps you if it's windy. Of course, it's not windy in this 1,550 square foot apartment we live in. 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, and our studio office situation here. Marilyn is on that side, and I'm on this side. I go from this side to 24 inches, and she goes from that 24-inch line to the 48-inch line. And there's a blue line all the way down the middle of this desk. You see this blue tape? I stretched this blue tape all the way across. So, Marilyn, this is the line of demarcation. You get that half, and I get this half. And that's... Whoops. Something else to put back where it belongs once I find it. The UPS guy, that was his tape, and I don't know what the UPS guy does with that tape. But he left it down at our place where packages are picked up and dropped off and all that. And then I don't know what it means, but so I grabbed it. It's like tape that you'd use if you were going to paint a straight line, and you go right across there, and you don't have to worry about, having a real fancy paintbrush and have fancy schmancy credentials on painting, which is Jimmy. So I don't use it for that. I use it for everything else that you would use tape for, and you don't care what color it is, and you don't mind blue. So I have 2 rolls of it, actually. One I bought and one UPS gave me, so to speak. Anyway, so Powerball did not hit last night, according to my early morning news. So now that's, somewhere near $1 billion. And Mega Million is somewhere near $1 billion. So you have a choice of which $1 billion drawing you want to, contribute towards. Jeez. I mean, the winning odds is 1 in 300 million, just slightly higher than that. It's like 1 in 301 million, something like that. So that's almost everybody in the United States. 1 ticket. Bam, $1 billion. Of course, if you elect to take the full cash payout up front, which of course I would do, and I'd recommend to do unless you're 27, then get the annual, because it'll be, they take $1 billion and divide it by 36. So that's, what? Jeez. That's almost, let's just make sure we get the right order of magnitude here. $1 billion. That's 1,000. That's 1,000,000. That's $1 billion. We're going to divide that by 30 years. That's 33 million a year. See, if you were like 25, 30, 35, you go ahead and get that annuity, because you get 33 million a year, and times point, let's say 20. No. 33 million. Times 0.8. That gives you roughly 25 million, I'm rounding down, after tax every year. That's like winning a lottery ticket every year for 30 years. It's hard. So that way you don't screw it up and, buy a hotel somewhere in Carson City or, some gold town. And then all of a sudden they stop pumping water or whatever. But if you get 25 million a year, you can make some crummy investments and still have next year to look forward to. Because you're going to get another 25 million and so forth. And of course you get 25 million up front after tax. So you don't have to wait a year for it. You get it right away. And then you get 29 more. Or, let's go back to our trusted calculator. Since we're playing Mega Million and Powerball, hysteria. So here we go. Tens, 100,000s, millions, 900 million, 1 billion. So if you take the upfront, I believe you got half of it with full payment. That's 500 million. Whoa! Now, of course, the U.S. government is going to take its hunk. So let's just say that times 40 times 0.6. It's 39.6, the maximum tax rate. I'm going to round up. So it's 40%. So that means you get 60%. Aha. So a $1 billion ticket turns out to be roughly $300 million after tax. $300 million. There's not many people on this planet that have $300 million in after-tax cash. Mm-hmm. Let's just do a little thing here. So if you buy, what you do is you hire a really experienced. The best thing to do is to find a treasury management person that works in the treasury department of a big bank that buys all kinds of investment, portfolios. Whoops. So that's the kind of guy, gal, girl. I had a favorite person when I was at Southern Security Bank and Southern Security Life Insurance Company. And our excess cash we invested overnight. And so that's, instead of trying to figure out who's the best, fisher and, you get all kinds of, those kinds of guys. You can't tell whether they're, trying to schlep their own bonds or bills or whatever. Just go after a treasury management person in a major bank, like Seacoast Bank, for example. I'm sure they have, you can find, you go into their office in Boca Raton. I happen to live in Boca Raton, so, and my wife happens to be the financial center manager in the main office in Boca Raton. And right across the hall from her is all these corporate types that work in the holding company. And you have Marilyn introduce you to a real nice senior treasury management person and say, hey, I got $300 million to invest. What do you think I should do with it? Well, I'm just going to play treasury management person for a minute, if you don't mind. And we got $300 million in after-tax cash. Wow. Gives me shivers. And if they can just get you 5% times 0.055, let's just say, equals, oh God, jeez. I mean, when you have all these zeros. Now, when I was in the banking business and I was dealing with the bank money, I was used to all these zeros. But to think of it in my little, it is a studio kind of thing. I have a soundboard over here. I've got some monitors over here. Here's my run clock here, right over here. See this thing clicking up, tenths of a second and all that. On the air. It's 9:54 a.m. on March 24th. It's 67.8 degrees in this little studio, which is about the way studios usually are. They're really so cold, I almost need gloves. And it's 80.8 degrees outside. The relative humidity inside is 53, which you can see by this little number right down here in this corner with my wiggling finger. And there you go. Anyway, so that's... So $300 million at 5.5% is $16.5 million a year. Can you imagine? In interest. Now we're going to multiply that times 0.6 because the government's going to take a little piece. Oh my God. It's still $10 million of after-tax net interest. Let's divide that by 12. That's $800,000 a month. How about that for And let's divide that by 2. I'm just playing games here. Times 2. Let's go back up. Is that right? Times 2. Yeah. $885,000 a month. So, yep, $825,000 a month. We're going to divide that by 4.33. That's $190,000 a week. How about that for a paycheck? $190,000 a week of after-tax income, because remember we invested $300 million at 5.5%. Let's just do that calculation again. I know that the lottery and you end up with about 35%. So actually, my rounding was a little too aggressive. So you're really going to get $350 million of after-tax cash. A staggering number, isn't it? Times, this is after-tax cash, remember? It's cash. But if you invest that cash and it makes money, that's income. And then you got to pay tax on the income. Uncle Sam always has to take a little piece. Jeez. All right, so we're going to invest that times 0.055 because that's the Treasury bill rate right now. And it's probably going to might go to 6 because inflation is still increasing. There we go. $19,250,000 a year in pre-tax earnings. So times 0.6, because the government's going to get almost 40%. That's $11,550,000 of after-tax annual interest income. Remember, you still got your 350 or 60 million in cash in these investments. So there's a rolling maturities and so forth. So you don't want to have that too long term. I would have them, 1 year, 2 years, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year. So every year, 1/5 of your investable money comes available in cash. So you don't have to take interest rates keep going up. You don't want to get discounted, because if interest rates go up and you're at 5.5% and interest rates go to 6%, you take a 17% hit on your money. So as long as you have them rolling off every year, 1/5 of it. In the meantime, you suffer with 11 million a year in after-tax net income. 11 million. This is interest after tax net interest income. I mean, that's just a huge. Let's divide that, since we're playing. 360. Oh my God, it's it's 32,000 a day. Oh my God, I wonder if I can gamble 32,000 a day and suffer until the next day. Jeez, that's why, when these lottery numbers get way up there, and if you happen to be the sole winner of one of these jumbo things, you need a financial planner at the minimum, to walk you through everything that I just did again in slow motion, so you can realize the magnitude of what $330 million. So it's 32,000 a day. All right. One more time. $360 million. That's million. That's 360 million. There you go. 360 followed by 6 zeros. That is your after-tax cash reward for that winning ticket. Now they march you out of there with, one of these jumbo checks, which you carry down to your local bank. No, they wire wherever the hell you want it. And you call your bank in advance and say, oh, by the way, we're going to wire into your bank $360 million. Please prepare yourself. And they'll take the money and they'll immediately, because you're not going to spend it all of a sudden, they'll invest it in overnight securities. Because they're not going to leave $360 million in the vault, so to speak. They're going to, they're going to make overnight money, which is okay. You can't stuff that kind of money in your safety deposit box. You've got to put it somewhere. Put it in a bank. Put it in 10 banks. You want to have so much money. You want to do all kinds of things. You want 10 million in gold. You want to, you want to put 10 million under all kinds of mattresses. And you can buy American Precious Metals Exchange. There you go. Look at this. Where is it? Do I have a American Precious Metals Exchange? There it is. There's an app. We've bought. I have. See, there's gold. Price of gold is $2,178 an ounce. Went down $18 an ounce overnight. Silver is $24.88. So you can see the 24-hour. You see that chart right there, which there's no expando capabilities here. Producer, would you please? Thank you. The producer happens to be Jimmy. So let's look at a week. There's gold went up to $2,215 an ounce on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Wednesday, Thursday, whoosh, then it went down, and it's over the month. Let's look at a month. Look at that. It's like a mountain. Look at it. Grew up. Yeah. Let's look at a year. So there's gold, and you see how it's way up here over on the right, which is the end of the year. This is 12 months period. It's not calendar year. And you go all the way back. It was $1,800 an ounce a year ago, and now it's $2,178 an ounce. And it was $1,800 an ounce. 18, 19, 20, 21. So it's, $350 an ounce. So you divide that by 18. So, you're looking at, 18% rise in the price of gold in a year? So you hold gold coins, and it went up 18%, in a year? That's called This is the ultimate inflation hedge. Gold is. And you can buy it from a company like this. Hi, James. I've been an elite member since January 2019. Yes, sirree, Bob. I'm trying to find, let's just hit gold. I'm just giving you a quick tour of, people say, gold, gold schmoldy. It's, here we go, right here. My favorite coin right here is right here. This puppy right here. 22, 88. So here. 22.98. So, it's like $100 over the spot gold price. $100. That's, instead of buying, gold bars, forget it. Because gold bars, you have to have it assayed. It's a very complicated, a little extra complicated process. You have to take it to a place that can actually assay the gold, make sure it's not gold paint on a lead bar. I'm being facetious, but it's this is like bigger than a quarter, smaller than a $half, and about 2 millimeters thick. It looks like a big nickel. And there's the buffalo on the back, and Chief Indian in the front. You can see the date, 2024. There's the back. 0.9999 fine gold. United States of America, e pluribus unum. In God we trust. Anyone that's in the gold business knows that this is a bullion coin. It's 24 karat gold has some impurities in it. But 1 ounce of this is bullion gold produced by the United States Mint, poured and stamped. Well, they actually have blanks, and then they stamp it with, with these dies that squeeze it, top and bottom, whoop, and you have the rippled edges around the outside edge, just like you have with a quarter. And then you have 10 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, that's a 10 little plastic tube that holds 10 of them. So if they cost $2,200 a piece, that means it's $22,000 for, they sell them. Price goes down if you buy, more than 10. If you buy 100, they're $22.98 a piece instead of $23.13 a piece. Or you can get them in these little first struck Mint Direct. They're packaged like that, right? I don't want to say anything that's incorrect. Mint Direct. And let's look at this one right here. Okay, here's another one. If you're an investor, where you're going to get a lot of these, and you got all of a sudden a lot of this money, it's not a bad idea to pay up a little bit and get every coin encapsulated in, this black diamond first strike P. You see that PCGS MS 70? That is a classification of it's first struck, as opposed to so it's uncirculated, it's untouched, no dings or marks, and it's first struck. In other words, so it got struck in the mint, packaged, boxed, and Black Diamond supervises this, puts it in their packaging. And of course, they guarantee that every coin in there is, gold, 0.99999 fine gold. And this package you can flip over on the other side so you can see the 0.999, so you can see the coin. And that way it's never touched. They charge you an extra $100 a coin for that. So here's 20 of them. Oh, so that cylinder, I misspoke. I thought it was a little higher. So when you buy 20 coins in the tube, and they're all first strike coins, and they're packaged and sealed in this polyethylene this is just going around and around and around. We can do that all day. Round and round and round. So you can see first strike, there's 20 of them. So for $46,000, and the tube is, like, you can't see it because it's dark. But the tube is like this tall. It's not a huge thing. It's about this handle on this miniature. This is a small flashlight. Super duper fragilistic, extremely bright flashlight, as you can see. It's always good to have a little flashlight hanging around. And just changing topics here, so I am up to speed on the latest and greatest. I have this. This is an 18650 lithium-ion cell, which if you were to buy a Model S Tesla, there's about 7,000 of these cells in a titanium sealed container under the car. Now, in my Model Y, we have 46 80 cells, 46 millimeters in diameter. An inch is 25 millimeters, right? Roughly. So it's 46 millimeters in diameter, which is, about an inch and a half in diameter and 80 millimeters tall. 25.6 millimeters in an inch. So, the 7.5 ounce cans of tomato juice or prune juice or pineapple juice that you see on a bar when they make their drinks, and they put a little bit of pineapple juice in the cocktail. That 7.5 ounce can, that's about the size of the battery that's in our new Model Y. And there's, I think, a little less, around 1,000 of those batteries. Produces 82 kilowatts of storage power. Anyway, so we're in the gold, $46,000 for a 20 coin ND Premier tube. That's a top pick for gold investors. So if you got an extra $500,000 floating around, so you buy 10 of those or 11 of those, and that'll bring you right into about $500,000. And it's 20 ounces, so it's 16 ounces to the pound. So it's it's interesting to have 20 ounces of anything in such a small volume. So if you bought 10 of those, that's $500,000 worth of gold. So you got 10 of these tubes. They could fit on top of this iPad, 10 tubes. That's 2 rows of 5. Yeah. I mean, it's about the, that's, so $1 million would, so if you had 20 tubes, 25 tubes, that's $1 million. So it's about this much worth of gold, standing about that tall. To give you an order of magnitude of just how much, $1 million in cash, is a, a huge bushel of cash, But, if you win a lottery like that, nothing wrong with having $1 million worth of gold laying around, in case, what hits the fan. I'll be polite. Let me check my blood sugar. Oops, at 95. I tell you what, this Ozempic is unbelievable. I'm drinking, sweetened tea. My blood sugar should be shooting up. It doesn't. It just stays. I got in the red zone here. It's the first time in my life that I know about where my blood sugar got below 70. And you see it went red. If it goes too much lower, whoop, hypoglycemic, boom, you hit the floor. So do I have any left? So on my blood sugar, Ricola. This is my savior. I don't have it in my pocket. I'm not going to say them all because I had to suck on 2 of these right away to get my blood sugar out of the toilet, my blood glucose. And I'm opening up this wrapper so I can show you Ricola in case you forget. It's a shame. The wrapper. Will it focus on there? There it is. Look at that. Ricola. It's amazing. Autofocus on this little sucker. Ricola. Anyway, they're individually wrapped. Like 45 of them, costs $4.50. So you can do the math. So I keep them in my pocket. Here's one. See, that's how they're packaged. That's one wrapped up. And you just drip. These are, I think, made in Sweden or something. In the mountains of, I think here. But I keep them. There we go. I got a little panicky when my blood sugar went red and my watch and my iPhone started screaming, like, I got an alarm set. So I keep them in this little plastic bag, a little Ziploc bag, 3 inches by 1.5 inches, roughly. And you don't necessarily have to seal it, and I just keep it in my pocket. This is a wrapper. I just throw that away because I had to shoot down one after the next, and it brought my blood sugar. Within 20 minutes, my blood sugar got back to 100, as you can see, because this was at 7:40 a.m. and you see immediately. So in 20 minutes, it was up to 82. It was in the green zone. So once you get back in the green, so I had another one. It brought it up to 100. So then I started to assimilate it. It went down to 93. And then I had a sip of tea. It went up to 107. And now it's come back to 99 roughly. Anyway, so that's my my little blood sugar alert this morning when Marilyn was taking off to visit a friend who's a little tiny bit disabled, I would not wheelchair disabled, but needs help getting around, has a cane. And Marilyn was gonna, her friend said, "Boy, I'd like to go to the beach and just wiggle my toes in the sand for a minute." So I think she called Marilyn and said, "Could you come visit me and help me do that?" So, that's a scary thing to get that call. It's like, oh, is she on, is she down for the count or what? I don't know. Making up stories. So that's what she's doing. So I assume she's somewhere, at the beach. It's 10:20. We can find her. Find friends. I'm showing you all the features of the Apple products. Look at that. I can see Marilyn. Let's continue. Facebook just disappeared. You see, there's Marilyn. It looks like they're at some kind of a beach thingy. We want satellite view. Thank you very much. There she is, mixed up in the. So she's part. At least her phone's in the parking lot. I assume she's in the car. So she's either just getting there or she's just leaving there. There's some kind of a tent thing going on. There she is. Now she's there. So they must be getting ready to go down these steps. And you can walk right out onto the ocean. As amazing as that is. There's a lifeguard stand. I can go this way. Whoa! I mean, this is all Apple's fine friends. Look at that. I can. Can you believe that? I mean, this is just unbelievable. And I can just push that down because see her faces. So that's her iPhone. So unless her iPhone got legs, she is right there at that tented pavilion thing. And she's moving around there. So you can see the trees. So I can take two fingers and I can rotate that around and we can see when they look towards the beach what it looks like. Oh my God. This is like all the Melaleuca trees. You would look down the coast. I can go down the coast like this. I mean, if you wonder how the news does that with the drones, they can do it on Google. This is, I assume it's Google Maps. So I can go down the beach. Let's run down the beach and find Marilyn. So here we go, running down the beach. And there she is. So let's just swing our turn around here and go right in there. So now I'm just some schlemiel in Boca Raton on the radio talking to, 1,000 of my friends. I have about 1,000 friends. Probably 2 of them are listening to me. I don't care. When I drop dead, they'll probably be very interested to hear what Jimmy thinks. In fact, the name of this broadcast used to be, What's Jimmy Think? Because I used to teach at FAU, and they always wanted to know what I thought about this and what I thought about that, and they would ask me questions, and I would write stories about, I'd actually research articles and write articles. If 3 people asked me a similar question, I'd write an article. And I wrote 1,000 articles, over 10 or 15 years of teaching at FAU. I was teaching the principles of digital photography, of course. And I wrote a book, and I showed you that a couple of weeks ago. It's published by Pearson Education. Had a 15% royalty. It was in the bookstore. I did all the things that you do. I had FAU written into the back cover, in the page where you give the credits to the institution that you're on the faculty of. And FAU loved it. because they get the exposure of FAU being, someone that housed. Look at that. We can peek right in the parking lot through these trees if you can look carefully. Around to the left of Maryland, there's some cars parked in the bushes. So there, I'm sure that tent is available. There's probably chairs, and she and her friend are sitting there probably trying to get up the energy to see if they can get down there and wiggle their toes in the sand. They're so close, but they're not there yet. Look at this lifeguard stand. It was not the lifeguard stand that I used to work at, which is like a bunch of ladders, nailed together. This is a real live little thingy. Yeah, I can't zoom in any closer. That's about as much as I can zoom in. So we can't really see. We know there are people on the beach and their towels. Because remember, this was taken from satellite views over a period of years, and they've managed to combine all these satellite views so that I'm just twisting my fingers. And of course, all the streets get lit up. Now I can turn off the streets and all that. But I have them on because we want to know where we're at. I need all the help I can get, principally. So there's a condominium or an apartment building right there on the ocean, which means everything is getting rusty. That's the one. See, these are newer, two-story residences, and on this plot of ground is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they're probably, that was broken up into individual lots that were bought by people, and then they built these, very nice, with a pool. So you take a dip in the water, and then you walk down your private path. It takes you right to your private beach, so to speak. It's not walled off, but it's a long walk down here, and you just find a spot down there if you're coming from this municipal park, which they probably had to pay a fee to get into, or $10 or $15 to get in there, or Sunday only. Anyway, so there's some people here, and they probably are one of the people that live in this little cluster. And then you have another project, L-shaped, do that. You got canopies up there, swimming pool, and you got cabanas down there. So you got some guy that's selling cabana rentals as we go down the beach. So I'm showing you basically Google Maps, or some map. Can we tell who the mapping company is? Yep, it's 10:30, according to my alarm clock. And it's telling me that I've got 30 seconds to go. And I've been on the air for an hour. Anyway, so that's Google Maps. Isn't that amazing? So, I can fly over all this territory. I'm out to Military Trail already. Look at this. Los Verdes Circle. Look how neat that is. Big circular. They got these, oops. That's another 1 hour alarm. My Growlab timer over there. Let's see, look at this. You could only kind of see this from, if we look straight down at it, look how that looks from the satellite view. up about, that's probably about 1,000 feet up. If I remember flying. I used to fly. I had some pilot training a long time ago, but you don't forget. It's like you don't forget how to ride a bike. Once you learn how to ride a bike, you could have not ridden a bike for decades and decades, and you get on a bike and you start pedaling and you're riding away. Well, same thing when you fly an airplane. I'm sure I could get in an airplane right now and take off. Now, landing is another matter. The one thing about taking off is you have to put the flaps down because the flaps help you get off the ground when you're, under 100 miles an hour. Now, if you're a big jumbo, if you're a big jet, you got to get to, like 175 miles an hour on the ground. And then you rotate and you go up. But in a little single propeller plane, which is what I used to fly every weekend, this guy that was in my dormitory across the hall, I think his name was Jeff something or other, he got his pilot's, he was a pilot instructor. He was a pilot, and then he took training to be a pilot instructor. And he got his instructor license, and he goes, whoopee, I got my license. And, you have a written exam. The written exam has a lot to do with weather and certain radio things and emergencies. And, it's like a public safety thing. And then you get an FAA guy goes up in the airplane with you in the cockpit, in the co-pilot seat. And he has you take off, and then you get up to like 5 or 6,000 feet. You stay under 5,000 feet, pretty much, in a small private plane. Your typical flying is at like 3,000 feet, 2,500 feet. So let's say you're 3,000 or 4,000 feet. And then he might pull, there's a yoke on both sides. So he might pull back on the yoke and put you into a stall because the plane will go straight up and then it will start falling backwards and it'll flip over. So then you gotta, with your ailerons and so forth, you gotta steady that plane and come like this. And you gotta break out of that fall without him touching anything. So you got to prove you can do that. That's just to get your pilot's license. But anyway, he pretends you're the teacher and he's the student, and you teach him how to fly. So if everything goes the way that kind of an examination goes, then you get certified as a private pilot instructor. So he got his instructor license and he says, hey, Jimmy, I got a deal for you. I said, what's that? I didn't even know he flew or anything about it. He said, I just got certified as a certified private pilot instructor. I said, really? I said, how exciting is that? He says, you want to learn how to fly? I said, hell yeah. How do we do that? I'm a 18, 19-year-old kid. I'm lucky if I can drive, which I could, rather, I'm a safe driver. My tires always look like they've never been driven because I'm nice and smooth around turns. I don't screech around turns because that tends to wear out your tires. I don't do hard accelerations. I don't do hard braking unless I'm avoiding something, like a front end collision. Anyway, so he taught me, we went out, this This could be his plane. I think he had a plane in an airport local to where we went to school in Union College. He said, come on, let's go over to the General Aviation Airport. And we go to the airport. And he would drive his car around to where his plane, the chain link fence where his plane was. And he'd check into the tower thing. And he'd check in and says, Jimmy and I are going to go up and fly. And we're going to go this way and we're going to go that way. Because you got to give me your flight plan. And then we're going to go around there and then we're going to come back. And we'll be out for about an hour. Maybe an hour and 15 minutes. So he'd take me out. And then he'd say, okay, here's the controls. You got your foot pedals down there. You got your yoke. You turn this way. Then you're going to make a turn, but you're going to slide. Hold on a second. Hello?
That's okay, I got a vacuum. Hello?
Hello?
We're just going to stop at Trader Joe's and then I'll be home. I was just wondering if you're hungry for anything or did you want to maybe step out?
You can go to Trader Joe's. That's, yeah. It's like,
on Linton.
Yeah. Okay. Do I want anything? You can imagine what I might want.
Okay.
I'll leave it to you.
All right.
You're not getting sand all over my car, are you?
Well, there's a little from our feet, but that'll suck right up.
Okay.
All right, bye.
What are you going to suck it with?
Your little vacuum.
Okay. Have a nice time.
Right, I gotta go.
Bye-bye. Right, see, Marilyn is calling me. They're going to Trader Joe's, so she's going to shop with her friend and buy a few things. There she is. You see her at Trader Joe's? We can see her. That's her iPhone. There we go. And we can see, look, you can even, if you can read it, you can even read the sign that says Trader Joe's. Now we're getting pretty good with these digital. So they're on Linton and Federal Highway, and they're walking into the front door now at Trader Joe's. Anyway, so we're good. We've had enough of this. I'm going to send Marilyn a text message to let her know if I can think of something, what I might want at Trader Joe's. Anyway, sir, we're finishing up this Sunday morning edition of what Jimmy thinks, what Jimmy is doing on Sunday morning. So I'm going to there we go. I like to end with the date on the front, on the tag, and I'm going to stop talking. Turn up the music, because the music, epidemic sound, instrumental, royalty-free music that they allow me to broadcast, actually rebroadcasting or broadcasting. And I always, of course, give them credit because they did this instrumental, and it's really quite nice. So I'm going to stop talking, and I'll see you tomorrow morning. I'm going to try to come on at 9 o'clock sharp, because Marilyn told me you got to have a set time when you start. So I'm going to try to be 9 o'clock every morning, unless of some, onboard emergency here at Royal Palm Place, 8 stories up. Have a great Sunday. Bye-bye.